And I do think they're going to add a starter.
Okay.
I kind of my gut feeling is they're not going to add the kind of starter I would add if I were them.
Mm,
Right? I think they're going to add a swing Manny starter who kind of covers, but could go to the pen if they get healthy. Ryan, I was wrong about this last year. I got to admit it. Is I spent a lot of time on this cast talking about what worried me the most about the Yankees was the starting rotation.
yeah.
Because it was so thin and fragile and was always one more 3 week injury even away from they might fall out of the playoffs if they
Right.
got the wrong injury here at the wrong time. And they have a scenario where they could end up with a lot of starting pitching next year. But you that is one of the great fallacies of the world is that it's all going to get healthy and kind of come together at the right time. Uh, when I've talked to Yankee people, they consistently say that Garrett Cole has hit all his benchmarks. And if I gambled, which I don't, and you said, would you gamble on Garrett Cole getting back in 14 months or less or more? I would probably say less, right?
Okay.
That's like mid-May.
Okay.
Now, he had surgery, I think it was March 11th. So this would be like May 11th would be
Hmm.
14 months. Would you go for 14 months or less? I kind of believe in the guy. I believe in the guy knowing his body. I believe in the guy's work ethic. I believe in his ambitions to get to the Hall of Fame and be a historic pitcher. Uh, and so I would. But I think I would say many very positive things about Shane Bieber, who had surgery in April of 2024 and did not pitch in a major league game until late August of this year. Like these are fingerprints. They are not, hey, you have Tommy John surgery and you could return. The word on Tommy John surgery now is if you talk to people in the game, they say you start at 12 months. Everyone's going to get 12 months. Whether you do the internal brace, whatever the procedure. And then it's what else do you need beyond 12 months?
Mm.
So that's a thing. Maybe Garrett Cole needs 13 months and he will return. And then the question is, how, like, return to what? He might not be his full self until 2027. Like, because velocity might come back, but feel or something might not. So you have that. Rodon had loose bodies removed from his elbow. Again, I think the target date is about May 1st for him. Will he? I don't know, but you're going to begin the season down those two guys. A season after Fried threw the most innings of his career and will pitch at, I think, 32 next year. After Schlittler and Warren threw the most innings of their professional life, especially Warren went way beyond it. Luis Heel is like a human injury waiting to happen in his career and did not finish the season well. Like, you could still believe in Luis Heel. So that's the kind of like group. And I think they feel that Carlos Lagrange and Elma Cruz Rodriguez have a chance to be Schlittler like and join. But that's a June, July, August
Yeah.
thing. They
That's
are going to
banking on a
start the
lot there.
season at the end of March. And I think they're talking about Clark Schmidt second half next year, say like, so let's say August 1st. Again, good luck. That's like 14 months out from surgery, 13, 14 months. We'll see. And I just think in this area, vibe last year where it was like, well, Stroman never worked and Cole missed the whole year and Hill missed 4 months and they just had a lot of shit go right.
Yeah.
Warren, who I thought was one of their most valuable players by just making 33 starts, which was tied for the American League lead. Just and in probably 25, 26 of them handed the ball to Boone with a chance for the Yankees to win. Like that was incredibly valuable because if not him, who? Schlittler, I mean, you mentioned the playoffs. Schlittler was a high-end starter from the moment he kind of showed up to the end of the season. Like, you want to believe in that again, great. Rodon made like 33 starts last year also. Like they kind of like the amount of starts they got from Fried, Rodon, and Warren, the gift of Schlittler, and getting Hill back kind of just in time allowed them to kind of save their season. They did not trade for a starting pitcher in the market at the trade deadline. I think that they've got to go and get a starting pitcher,
Yeah.
not a Ryan Yarbrough,
No.
not a swing guy. The guy who would be perfect for them, again, aggregator schmucks. Don't. I won't stop you. But like Clay Holmes is almost a perfect guy for them, if you think about it, because we just watched him pitch a whole season
Yep.
and be above average as a major league starter at 160 innings. But you know, if everybody came back, which they won't, but if it did, if they had the pitching miracle, and Cole got healthy by May 1st, and Rodon was healthy by May 1st, and Schmidt came, and Elma Cruz Rodriguez was great, and they have to maybe figure out and whatever.
Cam Schlittler stays healthy and is an ace, and
Right,
Max
right,
Fried
right,
stays healthy all
right.
throughout the
Like they
year.
all, it all works. Well, you've seen proof of concept because Clay Holmes was a terrific relief pitcher here, so you
Yeah.
could put him in the pen. Like so, somebody like him, I don't think the Mets are giving him away by any stretch of the imagination. So, but like that's the perfect guy is somebody better than Yarborough, who you know could start. And so, but I kind of think they're not. I think this is a place I wouldn't skimp.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I were them. I would address it. And if I'm in a situation where I like, bless me, if I have to have a sentence during the year where I'm like, I have too much starting pitching, you're not going to have it. And the other thing I'll throw in is the Yankees have to have some arrogance about them. Now, they're in a much tougher situation than the Dodgers, but the arrogance of the Dodgers was we're in the playoffs. And they
Hmm.
believed that on March 27th when the season began last year. I think the season began earlier for them because I think they were in Japan. But in March, they're like, we're in the playoff. I was in their camp in early March. I watched Shohei Ohtani throw a bullpen. Like, if they wanted Shohei Ohtani to start on opening day, he could have started. I
Absolutely.
believe that. They were talking about last year when they were running out of pitching in the postseason in 2024 against the Yankees. They were like, can he pitch? So I know he could have pitched to begin the season. They're like, we're in the playoffs. We're probably going to get 100-ish innings out of this guy this year post Tommy John surgery. The 100 we want includes October.
Hmm.
I think the Yankees have to begin with that arrogance about Cole.
Could not agree more.
Like make sure the bullets aren't wasted in April, May, and June.
No one cares about those months. It's
Well,
it,
they do. You can't because I think the AL East is good,
but
top to bottom.
but
You
wouldn't you
know,
agree with the way that it's gone the last 3 years for these Yankees team, or 4 or 5, if you want to go about it? They start off hot, but then
yeah.
it becomes this mid
But you don't want to
swoon,
start off
swoon.
Cole just for the hell of it now, because that's why I'm saying I would go get a starting pitcher to avoid cold, and help Cole, which is don't rush.
Yeah.
The 120 innings we need begins June 1st,
Yep.
June 15th. So, like, don't rush. We want, like, because look, if it worked perfect, it never does. But if it worked perfect and you had Cole at his best, Schlittler at his best, Fried at his best, Rodon at his best, Hill at his best, Schmidt at his best, and whichever celebrity guy I just put on their roster at their best on October 1st, that's how you could win a World Series.
That's how you become the
Right.
Dodgers.
Right. So to me, I would not just do a plug and play starting pitcher.
Completely agree.
I would try in this marketplace. I understand you're not going to go to the very top, and this is not a marketplace where I love the very top. You
Even
know,
Michael
like
King.
so, but I don't think Michael King's at the top, and I like Michael King.
Yeah.
Here's my Michael King fear is he's not healthy a lot.
Mm,
And am I just doing the same thing where I'm weaving it? I actually think this version of a starting pitcher doesn't have to be, I'd like him to be as good as possible, but can I get a better version of Will Warren?
okay.
In other words, I don't know exactly, but somebody who I feel great about every 5 days will take the ball, will get me 18 outs, and hand the ball to the manager. And even if it's 4 runs, 3 runs, because I think they have to, it can't be Marcus Stroman, Carlos Carrasco, right? Like it's got to be somebody who can go round and round. Now, if it's better, if you make a trade, like you use Dominguez to get a starter you really like, for example, or Spencer Jones to get a starter you really like, that's even better. Like I
That's
would,
where I want to go with this, Joel. Like
so I get you. I get you. I would not mess around with this because, but you do have the navigation problem of Hill doesn't have options. Schmidt doesn't have options. So
Schlittler
like
can go down.
Schlittler could go down, but like
So
He
can
might be.
Warren.
What if he's your ace?
I know. So if you don't send him down, you send Will Warren down.
Right. But like, and again, I think your biggest problem should be what the numbers
Yeah,
are.
exactly. Like I
I
don't
get,
care if I have too much pitching at that point. Like it's great. It's a great problem to have.
and you almost never, it never works out.
Right.
So, like you never have it. So like the Dodgers played it perfectly, right? Because by the beginning of October, but you know what? You shake your head, but that was also their plan in 2024, and it all got hurt. And
Right.
it wasn't so
I hear
like
you.
I'm saying it is the script I would try to follow is the 2025 Dodgers. And that's how hard it is. One year it worked. Good for them. They figured out how to win the World Series both years.
Yep.
But one year it didn't work and they nearly lost because they were just didn't have any starting pitching. And last year, I think Blake Snell could have come back quicker. I think Glass now could have come back quicker.
Yeah.
And I think the Dodgers are there's healthy and there's Dodger healthy. And Dodger healthy is not that you can go back out to the mound and throw 100 pitches, but one, you could throw it at peak performance. And two, we believe we're not pushing you early and you're not going to be there on October 1st.
Yeah.
I think that the way the NL West is set up and the talent of the Dodgers is they know they're in the playoffs. I don't think the Yankees could take it completely for granted because Toronto's really good. I think Boston's going to be even better next year. I can't believe Baltimore won't be better than last year. Tampa Bay always matches its way to at least 74, 75 wins as a baseline, if not better than that. So as opposed to the Dodgers, I don't think the Yankees could just go, we're in, we'll be cavalier about it. And that's why I would go get a starting pitcher.
So
Like that's at least a superior version of Will Warren. And I've got Will Warren at AAA,
yeah.
right? With Rodriguez, Cruz Rodriguez, with
Yeah.
Legrand,
With your
with
young arms. Yeah.
ultimately Ben Hess, maybe with Chase Hampton coming back from his own
Hmm.
surgery at some point, with Bryce Cunningham maybe coming up at some like the Yankees have an interesting group of starting pitching in the minors. It's not ready, besides the Schlittler warrant, it's not ready on April 1st. And therefore, you can't just slope away and be like, well, we're going to get all these gifts starting about May 1st with Rodon and Cole. Are you?
No, you
I
don't
mean,
know.
the Guardians thought they were getting Shane Bieber at some point. They
Yeah.
ended up trading him before he made a start last year, right? Like these do not come with scripts.
No, they don't. And what's fascinating about this, Joel, too, is that, and I'm going to throw again, aggregators. Joel is not saying this is going to happen or not
No,
happen. I'm just throwing this name out here because I get this name in my head and I'm like, he's out there potentially. And I've heard you talk about him a bunch. He's an ace, Cy Young winner, Tarik Skubal. He's, I don't know why the Tigers would even do this, but if you
I don't
threw,
think they're going to do it. If they do it, I don't think the Yankees could win that trade.
and that's where like I would say like
Because I
look,
think you, I don't,
Dominguez, Jones, Lombard. I throw all those names out there, even if it's for a 1 year rental. And this is where the Yankees fan is going to argue to us, Joel, and to everyone else, and as myself as a Yankee fan. Aaron Judge has maybe 1 or 2 more years of like prime. You're hoping that you have 1 more year of greatness from him. And I hate that Brian Cashman answered this question like this. What are you talking about? The pressure of building in Judge's prime window. It's like, well, no, you are trying to win a championship because the pressure is there, and you've come so close, and yet you feel so far away right now because, like you said, AL East is stacked against you. You have so many holes you're trying to adjust with this team, and the fact that you just laid out brilliantly about the starting pitching for this Yankees team, and that you can't rely on Cole and Rodon to start off healthy at the start of next year. If you could get a Tarik Skubal, that would put you in the Dodgers territory of Cole and Rodon take as much time as you want because we have our ace. We have Max Fried as a 2. And could you imagine what that rotation would look like if you had Cole and Rodon coming back to that? Like that's just the possibility is insane there.
I actually think if he's available in that way, the Mets can beat that offer. And I think they would. I think the Dodgers could beat that offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would. I actually think the Dodgers are in the best position to get him. They have so much pitching depth in their
Crazy.
organization, and it's got to be pitching. Like you mentioned Jones and Lombard. I'm not saying, by the way, Lombard's bad as the bench coach in Detroit. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be interested in these players. They might have to include him. But I think the trade for this player has to be like you might have to trade Schlittler.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
I am, because you're upgrading Schlittler for Skubal.
So here's one thing, and I we have
We
to
have to
cut this
end. We have to
at
end
some
this. I
point.
know.
So,
Yeah.
but I would do is I know how frustrated Yankee fans are about how last season ended, and I know head to head, Toronto uh, outdid the Yankees last year, which is why they won the division and why they beat them. But the gap is not that great, right? Like, and I think it's one of the reasons like the Mariners are going to be aggressive this offseason. I feel like they were like almost every team that was in the American League playoffs could have been the Blue Jays last year.
Yep.
I don't feel like there's a dominant team in the league. And the Blue Jays really, in every way, except for the one that counts, beat the Dodgers in the World Series. Like, like if it was a boxing match, it's no less than a 10-9 round. It might have been a 10-8 round. They outplayed them in every way and didn't win the World Series. So if I'm the Yankees and I'm a Yankee fan, I would be like, I know there's always envy to, oh, we got to get this guy. You're not that far away. Like you're essentially bringing, if you got Bellinger, you're bringing back the core of a team that I think if you played the season 50 times would have gotten to the World Series in 10 or 12 of them. Like it's not outlandish. Like Detroit would have gotten to the World Series in a few of them. Seattle would have gotten to the World Series in a few of them. Boston would have gotten in the World Series in a few of them. The American League at that very top didn't have a great team and had a bunch of really good ones. And the Yankees were among the really good ones. And so I get it. If I'm in charge, I want to add as many great players as possible. And I appreciate that Yankee fans are always like, go get this guy and go get this guy and go get this guy. And it's why I began this by you live in the world that is and not the one you want.
Yeah.
And in the one that is, there's going to be a real cap on payroll. And they're the people in charge who did the Juan Soto trade for a 1 year rental, I don't think are ready to do it again
Mm.
because I dare say if we start from say 2021 forward, no team has come close to trading the inventory of young players that the Yankees have. And I think they don't, I think that they're afraid of if we do Skubal for a year, and then believe me, if they do, and we're sitting and doing this a year from now, you'll be like, why aren't they giving him 500 million?
But
Right?
I would be
Like
like,
a
you know
guy who's
what?
had Tommy John surgery twice, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Is like we're gonna be doing that, and they don't want to be in that world. I think they imagine that they could be in that world for Soto, like that they would be bidders. I think when they have so much money invested in Cole, Rodon, Freed, the idea of we're gonna trade for this guy and then have a fourth guy and have four like the six highest paid starting pitchers in baseball or eight, whatever that would be. I don't think that's where their mindset's at. So I think if you trade for Skubal, I think you have to be like the Mets and believe we are also going to then. He's a Boris client. He's going to get to free agency. There's no preemptive, let's do a deal. You've got to believe that you've got a shot, if not a good shot, to keep him. I don't think that the Yankees would.